Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Taya and this is Papagaio, my jungle core island. Today we are working on Leonardo's house. We're going to create him as our jungle guide. So when you come to Papagaio and you've done all your shopping in the shopping district preparing for your journey into the jungle, you will also need to hire a guide. It's dangerous. You gotta have somebody who can help you, who knows the ways of the jungle. And I thought, who's going to be better than a jock villager for starters? And the two jock villagers that I have are Biff and Leonardo. And I mean, if I had to choose between Leonardo and Biff being my guide, I would choose Leonardo to be my guide. I don't know why. He seems like he would know where to go and he would be stealthy through the jungle, whereas it seems like Biff is more of like the loud kind of person. You know, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Either way, there's a mosquito that's trying to hunt me down and Leonardo is going to be our jungle guide. I'm sorry, Biff. Of course, I would run into you right away. I have other plans for you, Biff. So here in resident services, and we have the entrance, and I've just been running around here. There were some of you who wanted to see it kind of at night. Here it is with the tiki torches. We'll go over to the cafe real quick so I can show you the cafe. This is what the cafe looks like at night. Look at this. I added in a bird cage and it has a parrot in it into the cafe. I also switched around the seating just a little bit and I am obsessed. I really love this cafe. I just made those tiny little tweaks and it really helped it a lot. And you come up here through where the shopping district is going to be. I've put in a little bit of terraforming just so that I can mark out where our market will go. We have Able Sisters, and then coming back down here, we go back into the resident services, and this is where we're going to be starting our build for today. I'm going to place down Leonardo's house right over here, and you'll see kind of what I'm going to end up doing with that.
Oh my gosh, why do I always get something in my eye the second that I press record? Why?
Okay, so we've placed down Leonardo's house. I think we're just gonna go to the next day and we will get the build started. I'm gonna turn my camera off and I hope you all enjoy the build. I'll see you all at the end. So first thing is first, I'm just laying out some initial pathing in my standard round pathing with the extra custom designs on top afterwards, but now I'm just trying to plan out where my incline will be, what the pathing is going to be like leading up to the incline there, and I have to bust this rock, which was the money rock, but that's okay because I have max bells, I don't need the money. And once I had that planned out a little bit better, I was able to start creating the terraforming. And I am going to chop out quite a lot of the terraforming of this back half of it, but I am going to show you how I'm wrapping it around. It's going to go behind resident services a little bit for this build. And then I'm going to be creating like kind of a valley that surrounds Leonardo's house so that it's this whole front area of my island is in a little bit of a valley, and I brought it down here, but then I realized I was bringing it too close to this river inlet, so we brought it out a little bit closer back to Leonardo's house, and he's going to be at like the one edge of this cliff area, and then the other edge of this cliff area ends nearer to the ocean on the right hand side of my island, if that makes sense. So again, as the lore of my island goes, this is where the settlers have landed. This is where there's more shops and commerce and things going on in this little enclave at the front of the island. And then as you head back, it's just like untamed wilderness. And that is why we need to have a guide's house, because if there are people who need to go back into the jungle, explorers and such, then they need somebody to help them manage that. So we're gonna get the incline, and I think I went with the natural ramp, but I think I'm going to change it to the stone staircase in the future just to make it feel a little bit more built up, because this still is technically in the area that is more settled. And for some background to Leonardo's house, I wanted to give a little bit of extra cliff, and I realized I didn't build it out far enough, so I'm adding 4 more blocks here, but I actually end up only building it out 3 more squares deep, just so that I can give a little bit more bulk to that 3rd layer of cliff so that I can decorate it properly and add some waterfalls. It's a little bit different because I've never done a lot of water terraforming on an island, or even a lot of like more natural feeling terraforming. It's quite a challenge for me, but I'm loving it. And I mean, there's some people who have been doing like natural islands from the very beginning, and I'm just kind of getting onto this right now. And I'm like, wow, there is another level of like dedication when you go for more of a natural look. Like, I've just been doing straight canals and like roads and all of that kind of thing on my other islands, so it's really different for me. I know on Okanda I also built on my other island, which is Canada Core, I built a lake, but that was like my first foray really into trying to create natural terraforming, and it turned out looking like a face on my map. So we're really going to try harder on Papagaio to make it feel very natural everywhere, and we're going to add a lot of water terraforming as well. I'm loving how the map is turning out so far for Papagaio. I think the water terraforming is really making a difference. And also those circular pathways. I mean, honestly, if you want to make your map look cool, just add circular pathways everywhere. At least it's doing a good job at making my map look cool. I'll have to actually show you guys the map because I don't show it in this video, but I'll have to do a little island update or something like that. In the next speed build that I do on Papagaio, I'll have to show you guys what the map is looking like because I'm really excited about it. Another thing that really adds a lot of interest to the map is just adding these tiny bits of water terraforming. And I think that was my thing with water terraforming before, is that I thought if you're going to add water, it should be like something significant, or you can't just use it in like a minor decorative way. But it's so cool when you're actually doing a natural island and you kind of have more liberty to do waterfalls. Like, it doesn't really suit all the time on like more of a town core island, which is what I did for my first island, or like more of a Canada core island. It doesn't really suit to have waterfalls all over the place. However, we do have a place in Ontario, Hamilton, Ontario, which is the waterfall capital of Canada, I believe. And they have like a lot of waterfalls, which is really beautiful. There's lots of really nice trails there. So yeah, we do have waterfalls in Canada, but not like the jungle. So I'm not making that a main feature on my Canada Core island. So it's really fun to have these 2 different islands with very different themes so that I'm able to explore all my water terraforming dreams in this island. It's been really cool. Are you a fan of water terraforming? I would like to know, because I mean, I think water terraforming is a pretty divisive thing. Either people love it or they hate it on their islands. So, I mean, I have been historically not a fan of water terraforming, but on this one, I'm really enjoying it. And I think it's good to give yourself a challenge every once in a while. It's really fun. And here's where my struggles begin with this build. I thought that I wanted to do some kind of in-game pathing in front of his house so that it felt more like an outfitter's shop. It felt more like an actual shop where you go to hire a guide for the jungle. So I wanted to give him some kind of flooring, and I, of course, have already tried like 3 different ones here, and I'm still not happy with it, and I thought this rattan rug would work perfectly. As I was clearing away the path, he came out of his house. I don't know what it was about him coming out of his house at that moment. It scared me so much. I was like, you know what? We're going to the next day. I need this incline built. I'm done. I'm done with it. And then it was the bug off the next day, which was incredibly irritating because my villagers were really close in resident services for most of the day, which is really close by this build. So you'll see them being quite in the way, which normally I don't really mind, but they were like really in the way, like you will see in just a second. Here we go. This is the part. Leonardo literally blocking me at every turn. I realize I'm outside of your house, dude, but like, let me build your house. And we went again trying with the rattan rug, but I ended up just doing the wood plank flooring. And in hindsight, I wouldn't have put any in-game path down if I had known that I was going to use a custom design over the entire thing. But yeah, I didn't know that. So now we have what am I talking about? In-game path underneath. And doing some bamboo lattice fencing, which is like such a pretty fencing, and I really have enjoyed using it on Papagaio. And once we have that pathing all out of the way, I'm going in with a rattan low table, putting some stacked magazines and a lantern on there. We're customizing the stacked magazines with the flag of Papagaio, which is not how the actual flag, like, I'm going to be changing the flag. I would like the flag to actually say Papagaio, and I do want a parrot on there, but I didn't have the patience to draw a parrot myself at the time that I was just looking to change out my flag from the basic flag. So yeah, that'll be a fun little project, creating the flag for Papagaio. I really enjoy making custom designs, so I'm looking forward to designing some kind of a flag for Papagaio. I did create the flag for Glenny, and I created the flag for Okanda as well, so it's kind of nice to create your own flag, even though I'm not like the best with custom designs. I try my hardest. And I thought that iron hanger stand would work. I tried so many times to put it there, and I do like it being like where you're hanging up your hat going into the house. I always love putting that in front of villager houses, but because it's so close to that stone lion dogs and like the entrance to the jungle, it just like doesn't work right. It's just like, you're going into the jungle, hang up your hat. I don't know. It feels too homey to be at a jungle entrance with these like intense ancient lions. And I'm going in with my plank path that I designed, but I'm realizing that this plank path is too clean. It's too like a orangey brown. I need it to be more of that like green kind of worn down wood, and I think I'd like to add some maybe mossy accents, make it look a little bit more rustic. I'm not exactly sure how to do that, but I mean, it's a work in progress, which is why I haven't shared that plank design with you yet. But once I have it to a place that I'm happy with, I will definitely share with you guys. All the other codes for this build are in the description below as usual. I think I actually forgot on my last video to put the codes in, so I will go back and do that. I had so many items that I wanted to try to fit in front of his house, and I didn't have enough room to really fit them in. Also, I didn't add as many trees as I needed to in the front. And that was, I think, it wasn't feeling jungly enough because I didn't add as many trees. And at the end, I go in and I add like a bunch of trees into the foreground of this space, and immediately I'm happy with it. So sometimes it's just like not overgrown enough, like especially for a jungle. If you're want it to feel more jungly, make it more overgrown, like add more trees, add more bushes, add more flowers. And that's what I'm kind of learning. But because I'm used to a more like open theme and not as cluttered, I mean cluttered but in a different way, like I don't know if I'm making sense at all, but not cluttered in the way that Papagaio needs to be cluttered in order to feel like a proper, really lush feeling jungle. So I will get there. You know, it's still early days on Papagaio. I'm still trying to figure out exactly how to do this jungle core thing, and I think it's turning out pretty well. So let me know what you think of Papagaio so far. I mean, I'm really liking how it's coming out. See that, honestly, right there, adding that bamboo tree, I was like, okay, I need more trees, like a lot more trees. And this is the moment, I think, where I actually go, yes, I go and I get trees and I start adding them, and I'm like, yes, this is exactly what I needed to do. More trees, more flowers, more bushes. We will get there. I think that's another reason why if you're having trouble with a theme that you're working on, sometimes you just need to do like a few different builds for that theme before you really get into the swing of it. And then you can go back and change other builds that you've done when you were earlier on. But I would say don't give up on a theme the first few builds, because you don't know if it's just like having to work your mind around it. Like, for example, I realized that I have those tall lanterns, that DIY for the tall lanterns, the stone ones, and if I had added in a couple of those, and now that I have that in my mind, those stone lanterns, I think I saw it on somebody else's jungle core island, and I was like, why have I not been using that item at all on Papagaio yet? It's just little things like that. Like when I was on a treasure island the other day, I saw that bird cage and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to put a bird cage in my cafe. And that's when I went back and changed that area of the cafe, because I had totally forgotten about that item. And you do, like when you're working on other themes, when you're not using these items all the time, you forget that they exist. It's so strange. There are a lot of items in this game, so it can take some time to like figure out which items you need to use for what themes. For example, if you're doing like kid core, you are fully aware of like every single kid core item, like you know exactly the items that you need to use for that theme. But if you're doing a brand new theme, if you were to switch from that to something else, then you would be like, hey, what do I need to use for this? Like, what do I need to use for elegant core? The items are completely different. So it kind of is a nice creative exercise to have two different themes. I'm finding right now that I'm working a lot on Papagaio, so my brain is like really stuck into jungle mode, and it's feel like I'm getting more and more comfortable with the jungle builds. But then I need to switch gears and go back to Canada core, and it's like my brain can't handle the shift. But it's good. It's a good exercise too. I'm excited to do more builds on Okanda, especially because like fall is coming up, and of course like Papagaio is really new, but Okanda is like almost finished, so it'll be perfect right in time for fall, actually to have a finished island. But I mean, I think people get really caught up with the seasons and making an island that is specifically for that season. And I don't think you need to really worry about it that much. Like if you want to design a winter island in the summer, who cares? Like go for it. It's interesting. It's different. Do you, you know? And I think a lot of people get caught up on that, so don't worry about it. Just do an island, whatever you want to do. Doesn't matter if it's, you can do whatever island you want at whatever time of year you like. And eventually it will be in season and you can share it with everybody at that time and it will be even more relevant. You never know. I actually think a lot of people skipped summer this year just because of that. Because they were working on all these spring core islands and then went straight to fall. Like, I know a couple of creators who have done that. And I love summer, and summer's so short in Canada that I'm so glad that I get to spend a little bit of time like enjoying like a summery vibe on my island. Even if this island is finished like at the end of fall, I don't care. That's kind of the joy of Animal Crossing and time traveling in Animal Crossing, is that you can really decide whatever season it is that you want. And wow, that was a very long rant on a lot of things, and we are getting close to the end of the build, so I'm just going to leave you to some music and we're going to put in the final little details and touches here. All right, everyone. I think I'm happy with this for now. I am definitely going to go back and change some things, but I'm kind of enjoying that about Papagaio. I'm giving myself a lot of liberty to change out little items. For example, I don't think that's my flag. I didn't create this design here that I used on these stacked magazines, but that's what I'm going with for my flag right now for Papagaio, but I think it's just too fluorescent. So I'm definitely gonna have to adjust those colors. See, and now I'm changing more things and I'm like, I like that. We're definitely changing that back. See, this is the thing. I think that the build is done and then I start talking about it and I'm like, you ain't done. This is also why I don't film late at night, because I have no brain cells left at night. There you go. That's cuter. Oh my gosh. Why did that help so much? Was there something else right here? Oh, the fishing rod stand. Whoops. Here we go. Fishing rod stand. Put this thing back. All right, so I'm already way happier with that. How funny is that? I really like this view though. I like the way that it looks up on the cliff. I like how you still see trees behind. There's some water aspects. It's everything that I want in a jungle island. And I really love this entrance. It feels like kind of subtle. You're going into the jungle now. Be careful. There's a tarantula there. And that's just going to get better and better as you go up here. You're going to continue into the actual jungle. I have a lot of plans for that. But for now, we have Leonardo's house. I hope you all like it. Let me know. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye, everybody.